Did you know that Vermont has provided benefits to same sex partners of state employees since 1994? That in Baker versus Vermont, three same sex couples sued the state and the Shelburne, South Burlington, and Milton town clerks that had denied them marriage licenses in the Chittenden County Superior Court in 1937. The court ruled that Vermont statutes limiting marriage to different sex couples were constitutional because they served the public interest by promoting the link between procreation and child rearing. You see, that was the excuse that was commonly used back in the day to deny same sex marriage, was that marriage was for procreating. A lot of states use that as the defense. Yeah. But because Chittenden County Superior Court uh, sided with the state, it went to the Vermont Supreme Court. They ruled that the state must provide equal marriage benefits to same sex couples, whether in the form of marriage or an equivalent. As a result, Vermont introduced civil unions in 2000, the first state to provide a status identical to marriage. March 15th, 2000, the state House of Representatives voted 76 to 69 in favor of legislation creating civil unions with the same legal rights and obligations as marriage. The legislation also defined marriage as the union of a man and a woman. In the meantime, the Senate defeated two constitutional amendments designed to nullify the Baker decision. One that defined marriage as the union of a man and a woman, and another that reserved to the Assembly all authority to define the benefits of marriage. Now, when the civil unions law went into effect on July 1st of 2000, Vermont became the third U.S. state after Hawaii and California to offer legal status to same-sex couples, and the first to offer a civil union status encompassing the same legal rights and responsibilities as marriage. Vermont was the first state in which same-sex marriage became legal through the action of the legislature and governor rather than as a result of a court decision. In the first year that civil unions were available, 2,479 same-sex couples formed Vermont civil unions. Only 502 of those couples were actually Vermont residents. About two-thirds were women. By October 8, 2004, 7,201 couples had entered into civil unions in Vermont. On January 26, 2006, Representative Mark Lawson, a Democrat, introduced draft legislation to grant same-sex couples the right to marry and allow clergy to refuse to perform same-sex marriages if this would violate their religious beliefs. The bill failed in the General Assembly. The Vermont Senate approved same-sex marriage legislation on March 23rd, 2009, and then Governor Jim Douglas threatened to veto it. On April 3rd, the House passed an amended version of the bill, 94 to 52, several votes shy of a veto-proof two-thirds majority. On April 6, 2009, the Senate approved the amendment made by the House, and Governor Douglas vetoed the legislation as promised. On April 7, 2009, the Senate overrode the governor's veto by a 23-5 vote, and the House overrode the veto by 100 to 49. Vermont became the fifth state to afford legal recognition to same sex marriages, though only three other states, Connecticut, Iowa, and Massachusetts, did so without limitation. Vermont was the first state to establish the legal recognition of same sex marriage by legislation, like we previously discussed. Since September 2009, the definition of marriage in the state of Vermont has been the following: marriage is the legally recognized union of two people. A 2017 Public Religion Research Institute poll found that 80% of Vermont residents supported same sex marriage, while 16% were opposed and 4% were unsure. And now we have hit the state with the highest percentage in favor of.